What is something you hate about your town? Our town is a very popular tourist destination. I understand that tourism brings a lot of money into the area, but I hate going into town for basic stuff because I'm tripping over tourists constantly. Someone I just wished we could have one day a week where they send the tour buses elsewhere. Please, just let me do my charity shop circuit and grab a cup in a nice cafe without some vacuous Kardashian knockoff with an inch of poorly color matched orange foundation and lips so overinflated that they look like blisters taking pictures of a fucking Greg's sausage roll. There's no work or job opportunities, so everyone is just poor. The dating scene is absolute trash. Everyone has either fucked or dated each other, or they're just trashy in general. Everyone is into drugs and other vices, and it's ridiculous. Anything fun or interesting or grocery shopping is literally a 30 minutes 1 hour drive away into the next town. All the homes and everything is old and run down and falling apart. The whole town is an absolute dump of a ghost town. Damn, this sounds like a majority of Texas. They will fight literally any change. Good, bad? Don't matter. Change is never allowed to happen. Had an old industrial site. Needed cleaned up, got federal money, people lost their shit. Can't clean up our rebel. How dare they tear down that old paper mill that collapsed and caught fire in 1985? How dare they fix the railings? They took down the rusty chain link that was around the industrial site. We have to protest updating the sewage system over our dead bodies. I wish I was joking. It's supposed to be this very fun and open-minded place, at least the consensus is this way in my country, but if you grow up here it's very bland and boring. Also, it got ruined by immigration from other cities and it lost its very chill charm. I'm always on alert when I go out because the crowd has changed horribly. On one hand, it has like limitless potential again if it's cleaned up from these crowds. On the other hand, I gotta get out and I don't care if it's nuked when I'm gone. No one is outside here. Like, you see someone walking their dog occasionally or some people riding their bikes through our little village from the city. But like actually out on their yard doing stuff? Once in a blue moon. I have lived here for 5 years now, and the only person I have talked to is the dad who lives closest to us, as we met when I went fishing and he was out with his dog. Very rarely though, probably 10 times total of that. Whereas everybody, they go through their entire lives with blinders on and have zero curiosity about anything. If it hasn't been part of their lives for their entire lives, it doesn't even occur to them to inquire or learn. They know the kind of town events, kind of food, kind of people that they know, and that's enough for them. A different religion, language, diet, habit, circumstance, history, they act like you just never learned know how to do America right. Well, pretty much everyone in my little town works at the same office, where the only work they do is abuse me. I'm really annoying, so people hit me with baseball bats and piss on all of my stuff. My nickname there is the long-faced toilet, and people will call me it and just shove trash in my mouth. When we get drug tested, they have me do it in front of everyone so they can laugh at my small dick, and they make me drink the piss. Eco-terrorists. They tried to derail trains dozens of times, culminating in a fuel train incident with fire and fuel leaking and running toward one of the local salmon streams. The two who were caught in a separate incident right in town where there could easily been fatalities were convicted in federal court and could have received 20-year sentences. One got a year and served most of it, the other was sentenced to 6 months. It's pretty boring. It's a nice suburb with a lot to like. It's clean, quiet, well managed, good bike lanes with some great hills to ride on. But the whole town pretty much closes up and goes to bed at 9 p.m. Just really not a whole lot to do at night. It's about 45 minutes away from a major city, which is close enough to go out and do stuff sometimes, but also far enough that I often talk myself out of it, too. Scottish here by comparison to most European countries, our country is a slum. The social housing has been left to rot to conditions too suitable for human habitation, and the cities are covered in litter. Scottish people, and British people in general, are feral by comparison to our European counterparts. They are incredibly civilized. A part of me is beginning to loathe my home country, that all the neighborhoods are so distinctive, they're treated like high school cliques. I told classmates in both high school and college where I grew up, and they said, "You're from there? But you're so nice," or they felt badly I grew up there. Granted, it was and still is a snobbish neighborhood, so I can't blame them. But they were interesting experiences, to say the least. We're one of those places that people lose their whole identity to trends. Almost every single guy in my high school dressed the same, had the same haircuts, pretty much only spoke in slang, listened to the same artists, and had the same favorite songs just because they were popular. There was just no individuality. I still see it even several years after graduating. There's a lot of homeless people, yet no one cares. This past summer reached 110 degrees one day. On that day I saw a homeless person stumbling through the park, and felt kinda bad. That same man was found in front of the park's entrance 10 minutes after I left. He dehydrated. Moving from the city to here, no subway, no buses, and there is a taxi service but you have to call them. They take 45 minutes to get to your house but they don't call you when they get there, so you have to just sit looking out the window or they will just leave. You can tell the dispatcher to ask them to honk but they don't tell that to the drivers. Supposedly a big city, sidewalks roll up by 10 at the latest. Even at the casinos, restaurants here are closed by 10 and you're stuck with the fast food court. Having lived in Reno from age 10-15 years, this is so disappointing when you have a third shift spouse who'd like to go out for something besides fast food Denny's bar crap after 10 p.m. Appalling traffic, urban sprawl, zero public transportation and zero interest in creating any, and a very large percentage of people on the road are people who should have stopped driving years ago, but there is no public transportation, and it's unsafe to walk or a bike anywhere due to crazy heat and other drivers focused on their cell phones. Its existence. People have a general backwards mentality, they are ignorant and don't even try to think about how things should be done. These faults reflect in everything. Living here is like a fight to the bottom. It might be a beautiful place, but nobody cares. A giant parking lot would honestly serve humanity better than this shithole. We're a small town of 7K which has a rich history that helped Lincoln get elected to the state senate in Illinois, had a strong history of education, has a lore of being part of the Underground Railroad, yet a good portion of our residents think our town is terrible because we don't have a shoe store or whatever the desire of the week is. I spent the first 40 years of my life in a huge, multi-million people city, then moved to a tiny town in the rural south. Mostly, I love the change and slower pace of life, it's great. Occasionally I miss things like the variety of restaurants, having various entertainment venues only minutes away, etc. But overall, I wouldn't go back. I mean, what's not to hate? I don't like where we live but we are stuck here because my husband has to live here due to his work. It's a Rust Belt city full of Trumpers, poor economy, drugs, lots of entitlement, bad politicians, everything is run down, that people are uneducated and ignorant and proud of it. It's a bad place. My hometown, what I hate is how everyone there thinks exactly alike. No one there has ever had an original thought. It's like the Simon and Garfunkel song My Little Town, musical notes, and when it rains, there's a rainbow, and all of the colors are black. It's not that the colors aren't there, it's just imagination they lack, musical notes. In the summertime all the entitled people show up with their Trump flags for their week at the beach. They walk over the sand dunes, leave their trash, drive drunk, and basically act like the inbred racists they were born to be. They think the entire town is people on vacation and are completely ignorant to the locals. Too many terrible people. There's only like 5,000 people, but pretty much everyone under the age of 50 that didn't leave is a pretty awful person in general. Racist, dumb, settle for the local mining job, and never progress past high school mentalities. I regret moving here big time and will be leaving ASAP. My town is very weird. Part of it is basically urban, part is suburban and part is farmland. And oh yeah, a gazillion warehouses. There is no downtown. I don't like all the people who tailgate me when I'm trying to respect the speed limit in residential areas, more so for deer reasons than for pedestrians. We can't have anything nice because the hood rat teens young adults ruin it by breaking stuff, stealing it or defacing it with graffiti, etc. We get homeless people bussed here from a nearby large metropolitan city. The city allows businesses like Starbucks to be put into areas with huge traffic issues. So much poverty. I do what I can by working a second job with a non-profit that helps alleviate local poverty and teach better life skills, but a lot of times it feels like you can't make any sort of difference. The home lives of some of the kids in the area are just appalling. It's really sad. Where I grew up I hated so many things. But most of all tourist season. Hated every summer because my town was flooded with idiots. I 100 keep that in mind when I myself am a tourist somewhere and do my damnedest not to be a scourge on the locals. Left 19 years ago and never looked back. The nepotism. Example. My mother, a certified special education teacher, got passed over for a teacher's aide position for the adult son of a school board member. They had already hired him and started letting him work with the kids before finding out that his girlfriend was in middle school. The noise. Barking and screaming dogs, old noisy vehicles, the ice cream truck that is Fran Drescher yelling hello? The people walking down the street with their speakerphones at full blast, blasting music or trying loudly and unsuccessfully to rap. After bedtime, the fireworks come out. Mexican hear cat calling. It's really obnoxious, and honestly, does it ever work? When is a girl going to stop in her tracks, turn around and say, "Hey you, obnoxiously loud guy, I was just passing by and was immediately attracted by your cat calling skills." Underpasses. Pathways built under the road, because of the angle slope, they always flood in heavy rain, which is regular in Scotland. So you have to climb the slope and cross a very busy main road. There's so many in the town, some worse than others. Far from an international airport. Never make this mistake if you travel for work or pleasure. Most times I have to drive or take a train to a city, stay the night and catch the flight the next day and repeat on the way back. It makes traveling exhausting. It's small and boring AF. Barely any stores. We have 6 barbershops and a few beauty salons though, nothing interesting for younger people. Boomers with sticks up their butt everywhere, stinky oil refinery, very little job. The posted speed limit in the town proper is 30. People regularly drive 45 or faster. And the cops don't enforce it. People want to bitch about the taxes being so high? Maybe enforce a speed limit? Speeding tickets are an easy source of income. The people. I live in a small rural town and I know everyone, and it becomes very annoying seeing people that want to talk everywhere I go, and because it's a small town they only want to talk to find information out about other people in the town.